This week on the 77% Street Debate.
Men ordinarily show love through giving. I don't know any other way to show love.
If you don't provide, you don't have a voice in your family.
Yeah.
You don't have authority. You cannot make decisions.
We do not really have people that we can go back to and say, dude, if we're having a beer, let's put this beer aside. Today, let's open our chests and just put it out there that this is what I'm going through.
Even from the beginning of my childhood, you have to be a leader as a man.
The 77% is in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and here we're going to have a very special debate, speaking to men about what it means to be a man in Africa in this year of 2021. Samuel, let's come to you because I saw you shaking your head when Eric was speaking. Are you also experiencing this, where you're getting incredible pressure from women to finance their lives because this is what a man is expected to do?
Yeah, first of all, as I said, a man shows love through giving.
Is this true,
That's
by
fair.
the way? Is that how you show? I just want to do a quick check. Is this true? If it is true, raise your hand. I show love through giving money or buying stuff?
Giving, not necessarily money.
Not necessarily, but giving.
Yes.
Okay, Samuel, let's continue with you.
So, since back then, even today, we have to provide for our loved ones, for our ladies and stuff like that. You won't expect a woman to provide for you. But in this day and time, yes, we have to be as one.
Okay, so shockingly. Oh, Samuel, you have something to say to me. Go ahead.
We do have an issue of communications among ourselves. Men, we communicate differently than women.
If you communicate at
Yes. So the way we speak among ourselves is quite different. And yes, I believe it's better for us to also speak out the things that we're going through. Personally, I'm a mental health advocate, and I usually advise most men to speak about it because, like recently, I lost both my parents in a very short time. But I could easily speak about it, and now it helps me in a certain way. But most of us men, we do have an issue not to communicate about it properly. Most of us didn't have that time, or rather that ability to speak about certain things.
Okay, so talk to me about African fathers.
Yes.
How is the relationship between the average... Yeah, you're laughing. What's the relationship between you and your father? What was it?
With my father father was a true African man, like literally an African man. There are certain things we could not easily speak so comfortably with him. So our relationship wasn't that tight until later when I grew up. After now, I confronted him about a number of things, how he treated me as a child. So without that confrontation, we could have not been friends. And yes.
All right, Herbert, I see you nodding from the corner of your eye. I'm going to come to you. Is this also true for you, the relationship with your father? Talk to me about that.
Well, definitely with our African fathers, you have to make the effort. As the child and as the boy, you have to make the effort in that situation. You have to confront him and you have to show him that you've become a man.
Where is the confrontation coming in from?
Not a confrontation, it's in the situation of where you have to have a conversation with him. You understand? If you're going to have this conversation, you're the one to approach him. You're the one to stop him and tell him, yeah, Dad, we need to speak about this and that and this. If you don't get to do that, he will always look at you like you're still a child to him. You understand?
Yeah.
And that is something that cannot be done away with. That is something you have to do all the time, and you have to be able to speak to your children. I get it now. We are at this place where we are now the younger generation. We can instigate and we can start those conversations with our children. But at the same time, we still have to see them take the initiative.
All right. Charles, did you have something to say to me with regards to this?
I have something to say. If you don't provide, you don't have a voice in your family.
Yeah.
You don't have authority. You cannot make decisions. There are so many challenges facing us these days. In the past, a man was able to batter the wife, especially if the wife is the one that talks a lot. Yeah? And
by the way, we're not advocating domestic violence.
Yes, of course I'm not advocating, but it used to be that way in the past.
Yeah.
The situation right now, men are in that fear that you cannot... There's nowhere you can go and express yourself because they don't have peer groups where they can share.
Right.
Yeah. When you go to the police will laugh at you. They'll tell you, what kind of a man are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in fact, they can even tell you, go and beat her instead of coming to the police.
Yeah.
You know? And most of the institutions that are there, advocating institutions, they are focused on women's rights, but not men's rights. So men are suffering in silence. And that's why even if you look at the statistics that are there, men who are committing suicide, there are so many. Because they have nowhere where they can ventilate.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
So two things are coming out very clearly here. And Charles, I want to come to you. That provision and power is a very big factor of masculinity. And now it appears sexuality as well. But talking back to those negative effects, when men are not talking to each other, you're not talking to your fathers, what do you do?
You know, for a man to open up, even to his spouse, he has to feel the atmosphere has a lot of trust and that he will not be judged if he speaks about what is going on. Not just out there, but even in our own homes where your wife typically also has grown in an environment where the dad never used to talk about anything, and that is the male reference she has. So when even her husband tries to talk about such things, even her, she somehow vilifies. I'm not saying that it is a common denominator, but it happens. It happens. We do not really have people that we can go back to and say, dude, if we're having a beer, let's put this beer aside. Today, let's open our chests and just put it out there that this is what I'm going
You don't
through.
really have friends if you're afraid to tell them something out of judgment. Samuel.
There's one point he said very clearly, but we haven't talked about it, the sexual part. Mostly if you can't satisfy your wife, your girlfriend, sexually, you're not considered as a man. Because most of them, they'll start either talking about it with their friends and then saying it's not man enough. Yes, you have money, but still you can't satisfy her sexually. So what do you want? So the issue is we have a lot of pressure that we have to handle to balance each one of them.
All right, so a lot of pressure. We keep coming back to that word, pressure, 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 but there is no outlet. So what are the consequences?
There are so many people who are committing suicide. We are families that are breaking. Some are ventilating through violence. Gender-based violence is on the increase. So those are some of the consequences. And as my namesake was putting it, Charles, we have buddies, but we don't have friends. And by that, I think I would like to say we don't have people whom we can confide confidential issues and sensitive issues that affect us internally, that who can also help us cope with them or find solution. So we have buddies, but don't have friends. So I want to agree with him too.
All right. How do we ensure that a year from now, 2 years from now, we're not having the same conversation? You know, we're not talking about manhood in this very not positive way.
I would say, first of all, we advocate more men to start speaking out of their issues. And the aspect, that part of how women can be also allies is first, stop dating your father. So in the essence that you were brought up by a certain element of a man and you want also your man to be that. No, this is your man on a different aspect. That was your mother's man. So stop dating your mother's man. Date your man. You put this person on the same level that you
So updating our expectations also of the kind of men we want in our lives.
So that at least you're okay with the person you have at the moment.
Okay. Charles, give me some solutions, please.
Men should speak out openly. Men should have their own peer groups where they can come and discuss issues that affect them openly without fear. And for women to be more allies, men also should understand that at some point, like, for example, the situation we are facing now, COVID-19, people have lost their jobs, business have gone down. They should just keep on respecting their husbands.
Mentorship. Children, especially boys, they become the men they see around them. If there are no men around them, they will borrow from the closest thing that they see around them, that they think that is what defines masculinity. If it is TV, that's where they'll borrow it from. If it is rap music, rap video, that's where they'll borrow from. So now, in many years to come, but now starting from now, we have to make a deliberate decision and choices to talk to our kids, not because of the way we feel that this is what defines masculinity, but helping them to realize how to just be a responsible person around other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mariga, let's close with you, finally.
Redefine who you are. It's a normal and an ordinary thing, and become the best version of yourself. Don't hold on to a version of yourself you were taught. There's nothing natural about how we are. Everything about us, we're not naturally A, B, or C. All of this is nurture and what we allow among ourselves. Redefine yourselves as much as you can to the best version of yourself. Free yourself.
All right.